There we go.
Alrighty.
It's still going.
Cool. Yeah, so, welcome back.
Yep. It's going on Bob and Hyper.
Yes. As we were just saying in the last episode, talking about the older Resident Evil games and how brutal their difficulty was compared to this game.
Though I think the other reason why Claire was boosted in health compared to... Because there isn't a second player you can start as. In Resident Evil 1 and 2, you could choose male or female, and one of the draws was the difference in health. This one, you only have Claire.
That is certainly true. Was that the case for Resident Evil 2, though? So
yeah.
were Leon and Claire actually different health?
Yeah, Leon can take a lot more of a beating. But Claire had... I find the difference between Leon and Claire's main like arsenal and such is the fact that Leon's just base do more damage, but Claire's is a lot more varied and versatile.
Yes.
That, and because of how much different things she has, you'll have a lot more ammo for about everything compared to Leon.
Also, grenade launcher OP.
Fuck yeah, it is. Now I'm just pretty much exploring, and then it's like, oh, I grab the ammo. I do eventually get back to here and steal it.
Yeah, so you get back here when you've got to face that creepy doctor dude.
Yeah. That dude takes so much fucking ammo.
Yes, he does. It's generally better to use either a shotgun or a grenade launcher against him.
I didn't.
Which is also possibly why they give you the ammo here.
That's another thing I didn't have. Is because I didn't go and get the Indigo card key, I don't have the grenade launcher yet.
Ah.
Actually, that's what I was going to do when I start recording next time. Was go grab that grenade launcher and all that. Because I got all the grenades and shit for it that you can get around.
But you just don't have the grenade launcher itself yet.
Pretty much, at this point, I'd be better off just chucking the boxes and hoping I give them a concussion.
Well, concussion would probably require more higher functioning brain than just shambling around.
Well, at the very least, I can knock them over.
True, true.
It's like, it is a big metal canister that weighs, what, probably 5-6 pounds? Get hit in the head.
Which is amazing. It's amazing that Claire can just carry around 200 of the damn things.
Yeah, and just think... Oh yeah, here's Steve's little bitch ass.
Steve might be a little bitch, but he is still a better character than certain other characters in this series.
At the very least, he's useful.
He is.
It's like,
I certainly prefer him over Carlos, although that might be a controversial opinion.
what, you don't like all the foxy ladies his accent gets?
No, I do not like his accent, no.
Oh, that's another thing, is apparently people have started to notice my accent will change depending on how I'm speaking. And it's funny as hell.
How so?
Like, sometimes if I pose a question, I'll go into a bit of a British accent.
I've been spending too much time around the ponds.
Pretty much. I've also been told I sound like a Kiwi.
Oh, I don't know about that one, bro.
I've also been told Australian and Boston, which is funny because I was born and raised in Kentucky.
The Boston one I can hear, but certainly not Australian.
I've lost my khakis and my khakis. Yeah. I think the only time I'd actually go into an accent is if I forced it. Otherwise, apparently it just happens on accident.
Ah well. Sometimes happens to everyone. I have been told the same thing, that sometimes I will go into a deep Australian accent.
Yeah. I'm really glad they added this video share. It actually works pretty damn well.
It does. I'm quite surprised by that.
And unlike Skype's, there isn't really a delay in the video either. It's like I'm swapping back and forth, checking on time and such, and it's about at the same spot as it is actually playing. Oh yeah, I think
Oh, that's right. They count the
ink ribbons. Yeah, it's like I forgot
Yes,
the ink
ink
ribbons
ribbons.
were metal. I guess I should have figured that. They're at least wrapped in metal.
So the question is, did you purposefully set off the alarm when you were finished so that the zombies can't break in?
No.
There's a couple little neat things like that they put in this game. So the metal detectors obviously shut down all the windows so that you can't get out. And actually, as part of that, if you do that at a certain point in the game, it'll stop the zombies from breaking into this area because they can't break the window.
But wouldn't that also leave more zombies in that hallway when you go through the next... Like, when you're going through on the outside?
I'm not certain that it does. But that being said, I'm not sure. It's been a long while since I've played this game.
Yeah, because when you put the indigo plate in, you go through that hallway, and it's just like... that they're banging on. Oh yes, here's where I make some friends.
Ah yes, the zombie friendos.
And then it's like, oh hey, what's this do? That probably wasn't the greatest of ideas.
Well, given that you needed the fire extinguisher,
Yep.
and you at least had the explosive.
Oh yeah. I think one of them still gets a bite off on me just because... Yeah, that's why.
Oh, he goes turbo, yeah.
Well, that and the fact that I forget... In Resident Evil Code Veronica, it doesn't keep firing if you hold down the trigger. You have to keep pressing the button. Unlike the
Of
earlier
course.
games. That's why I get bitten like 2 or 3 times, just because I haven't compensated for that knowledge yet.
Yeah, so that's one of the other things. Like, the zombie mechanics in this game are surprisingly complex compared to the other games.
Yeah. Oh,
So you can actually push zombies off by mashing buttons, and there is a certain number of times where they will go for a special bite where you can't. But there's also the case that sometimes they will go turbo. Now that did happen in previous games as well,
but it was a lot
but it
less
happens.
common.
Yes. Whereas in this game it'll be quite common where you'll see a zombie effectively start running at you.
Pretty much. That's just me checking everything. Oh yeah, I found it really funny though, some of the mechanics in this game. Also this guillotine. It's like, oh,
Going old school on us.
like only Alfred would have a fucking guillotine.
That he frequently uses.
Pretty much. And again, he's a cross-dressing freak.
Yeah, that being said, the cross-dressing part is minor compared to the rest of his freakishness.
Yeah. Here comes the puppos.
Ah, yes. The old the Doges.
Well, now here's what I remember I want to talk about. The panic music in this game. I like the panic music, but I like Resident Evil 2's panic music better.
Yes, the dun dun dun.
Yeah, like
Dun, dun.
when the crows burst through. Dun-na, dun-na, dun-na.
And when some of the zombies all break through certain doors as well. Or when Mr. X sometimes turns up.
Oh,
Although he had his own theme as well.
yeah. Honestly, that's another sometimes overlooked element of the classics that the newer games don't have is the soundtrack. I feel is a lot better in these older games.
Yeah, the problem is, like, a lot of developers, it's more... The sound... So, yeah, there's 2 parts to it. There is obviously the soundtrack itself and the sound effects. These days, sound effects have certainly gotten much better, but I would agree with you in saying that the sound track has gotten worse, or they just don't have one.
Yeah. That's one of my favorite things about the classic Resident Evils, though, is they had a great ambience set with the background setting up the game.
Absolutely, yes.
That's like, I don't know if you watched any of my video, but like, I'll comment when I'm in the main hall. Like, almost every time I just comment on the fact that the main hall theme is just perfectly done.
Yes, absolutely. Main hall in Resident Evil 2 of the police department.
Save room.
The top story, safe room, yes.
My favorite soundtrack in the entire game, though, is Tyrant B. AKA when he burst out of the lava pit and that da na na.
Ah, yes, the finale, of course.
Yeah, that theme, when it kicks in, you get pumped, you know?
Yeah, and it's a nice little subversion as well, because at that point you're assuming that, oh yeah, the tyrant that we've faced is Birkin. That's fine, we don't have a tyrant for this game, or for that particular point in the game, and it's like, no, there's a proper tyrant, here he is, and he's gonna wreck your face.
Pretty much. Oh hey, and they'll even give you a one-liner. You lose, big guy. Yeah, that's one thing I love about the old ones. They feel more special.
Certainly. That is almost certainly a lot of nostalgia going into it as well, but...
Nostalgia, yeah. I was literally raised with these games. Like,
Likewise.
Some of my earliest memories is just watching my father as I was a 6-year-old playing through Resident Evil 2.
Yes, I remember the same thing. Good parents' house.
I remember very, very vividly that liquor in the police station where he crawls through the window and then the cutscene right afterwards.
Of course, when he drops off the ceiling, certainly.
I accidentally set it off here again because, like, crap, forgot to put my lighter in there.
The lighter, of course.
Yeah. Sure, you could definitely say it's nostalgia, but it's also just, sure, new games look prettier, but they just don't have that appeal.
Yes, that is certainly true.
Don't get me wrong, I played the shit out of 4. Oh, did I tell you about that Reddit thread I started?
I saw it.
Apparently, I didn't start a huge bloodbath after my name, for once.
You started a nice discussion.
Apparently. I actually learned something. So, I found out the reason why Umbrella was killed off in 4.
Why Umbrella killed what, sorry?
No, why Umbrella was killed off with that throwaway line. You know, where they said Umbrella stocks fell and they were finished?
Yes.
I found out the reason why that happened.
Yeah, so it's interesting. Like, they don't actually say it at that point in time, but once they bring out Umbrella Chronicles, they did go into that.
Yeah, so pretty much the reason why they killed off the Umbrella the way they did, instead of the build-up, was because Resident Evil 4 went through so many redevelops. Because it got rewritten like 3 or 4 times, that the director just said, okay, you know what, fuck it, y'all don't want to work with me? Fine, Umbrella's dead, and used as a throwaway line to move on with the story.
And then they, of course, came back to it and actually explained what happened to Umbrella between 3 and, well, 4.
Yeah. Because they also made a good mention that Resident Evil Code Veronica 0 and Dead Aim were basically the part of the new series. Basically how they... Oh, there's the zombies. I heard the zombies break through the window.
Whoops. Yeah, so the trick there is when you actually get over to this side, if you actually go through the metal detector at that point,
lock it down,
and then go make the emblem, lock it down, they can't get through.
Yeah.
It's an interesting little trick that you can do.
I'll definitely have to remember that. Alright, this part's almost over. We got like 15 seconds. Anything you want to say before we move on?
Baba booey, baba booey, baba booey.
Alright, we'll join back on part 3.